wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him, with friends possessed.
For decades, the world believed Judi Dench was incapable of resentment, the ultimate professional, the gracious icon who rose above ego, conflict, and controversy. But what if that image was only half the story? What if behind the elegance lived memories so sharp they permanently changed her life and her career? At 90, with nothing left to protect, Judi Dench has allowed the truth to emerge not through headlines or public feuds, but through silence, distance, and the people she never worked with again. These aren't rumors. These aren't scandals. They are moments when respect vanished and something inside her closed forever. 6 encounters, 6 names, and one individual she quietly refused to forgive. Someone whose actions crossed a line even her legendary patience couldn't tolerate. Once you hear what happened and who was responsible, you'll never see her collaborations the same way again. Stay with us, because the name at the end changes everything. The first name still stuns even seasoned theater insiders. Daniel Day-Lewis, on paper, the pairing promised greatness, to giants of British acting finally sharing a project. DNCH, known for precision, discipline, and clarity. Day-Lewis, famous for total immersion, disappearing entirely into his roles. Critics predicted brilliance. Producers anticipated awards. At first, Dench admired his commitment. She respected the intensity, the dedication, the way he reshaped himself completely for each role. But admiration slowly turned into strain. Dench believed in preparation and in boundaries. Day-Lewis believed in never leaving character, even when the cameras stopped rolling. One morning on set, Dench greeted him as she always did. He did not respond. When she later approached him to discuss a shared scene, he did not speak to Judi Dench at all. He addressed only the fictional character she was portraying. It happened in front of the entire crew. From that moment on, the atmosphere shifted. Communication fractured. Scenes stretched longer than necessary. Dench found herself delivering lines to someone who refused to acknowledge her existence. Unless the camera was running, crew members whispered about the tension, about the chill that settled whenever they shared the same space. The breaking point came during a demanding emotional scene. Dench requested time to discuss pacing and interpretation. Day-Lewis refused, insisting truth could only be discovered under pressure. In the moment of the take, she remained composed. She never raised her voice. But internally, something closed. After the project ended, Dench never criticized him publicly. She acknowledged his brilliance. She praised his dedication. But privately, she made a final decision. She would never again work in an environment where intensity erased basic human respect. With Daniel Day-Lewis, the talent was undeniable. So was the cost. The second name shocked the public even more. Maggie Smith. To audiences, Judi Dench and Maggie Smith appeared inseparable. To queens of British theater, to women whose sharp wit and effortless mastery made them seem unbreakable. They were photographed laughing together, celebrated as equals, admired as lifelong companions in craft. But behind the scenes, there was a moment that cooled a friendship decades in the making. It happened during rehearsals for a major West End production in the late 1980s. Expectations were enormous. Dench and Smith together promised excellence beyond question. As rehearsals progressed, however, pressure mounted. Schedules were relentless. Media attention was suffocating. During a run-through of a crucial 2-person scene, Dench paused to ask a routine question about emotional timing. It was the kind of question she had asked thousands of times throughout her career. That day, Smith snapped, "If you want to direct the play, Judi, just say so." The room went silent. It wasn't the disagreement that hurt. It was the public nature of the rebuke, the tone, the implication that Dench's precision was interference rather than professionalism. From that moment on, the warmth vanished. On stage, their performances remained flawless. Off stage, the distance grew unmistakable. Humor sharpened into something colder. Conversations shortened. The air changed. When the production ended, Dench maintained her dignity. She thanked the cast. She showed no outward sign of conflict. But privately, she made a choice. She would no longer seek projects that placed them together. In later interviews, She spoke of Maggie Smith politely, even respectfully, but never again with the affection the public expected. The world saw camaraderie. Dench remembered the moment respect slipped. The third fracture came from someone once considered her protege, Kenneth Branagh. In the early days, Branagh revered her. He studied her technique, her phrasing, her command of Shakespeare. Dench, in turn, respected his ambition, his drive, his hunger to bring classical theatre to a broader audience. Together, they were hailed as the future of British drama. Then fame arrived and something shifted. During rehearsals for a major Shakespeare adaptation, Dench arrived fully prepared, her script carefully deconstructed through decades of experience. Branagh, riding the momentum of rising stardom, dismissed her approach in front of the entire room. He told her she was overanalyzing the text. He urged her to trust spontaneity instead. It wasn't a conversation. It was a correction, and coming from someone she had once supported, it cut deeply. Their working relationship changed overnight. Branagh pushed speed. Dench insisted on precision. Tension crept into rehearsals through clipped remarks and long silences. What troubled her most was not disagreement, it was arrogance. After the project wrapped, Dench quietly withdrew. Invitations to reunite faded away. Interviewers noticed she rarely mentioned Kenneth Branagh unless directly asked. When she did, her responses were technical, restrained, stripped of warmth. The public assumed the collaboration ended naturally. It hadn't. Dench simply chose not to work in spaces where respect disappeared so quickly. The fourth name surprised many: Steve Coogan. Their collaboration was intended to merge dramatic depth with sharp comedic energy. Producers believed the contrast would feel fresh, even electric. At first, Judi Dench welcomed the dynamic. She admired Coogan's timing, his instinctive rhythm, and his ability to reshape a scene in an instant. But what began as creative contrast slowly shifted into something more troubling. Humor crossed into condescension. During an early rehearsal, Dench paused to examine the emotional foundation of a scene and directed a thoughtful question to the director. Before an answer could come, Coogan cut in with a joke. "The audience isn't writing a dissertation, Judy." The room responded with polite laughter. Dench did not join in. To her, depth was not decoration. It was the work itself. And in that moment, her seriousness, her process had been reduced to inconvenience, dismissed as unnecessary overthinking rather than professional rigor. From that point forward, the balance disappeared. Coogan improvised freely, altered rhythms without discussion, and brushed aside structure with casual confidence. Dench remained outwardly calm, but gradually withdrew. Crew members noticed her patience, how she sat quietly, script in hand, waiting for the noise to settle enough for real acting to begin. The breaking point came during a rewrite session. Coogan casually suggested cutting one of Dench's monologues, joking that the project needed less lecturing and more charm. Dench closed her script. She looked directly at him. She said nothing. The silence was unmistakable. After the project ended, Dench avoided speaking about Steve Coogan altogether. No criticism, no praise, just absence. For Judi Dench, silence was the clearest judgment of all. The fifth encounter had nothing to do with performance and everything to do with power. Harvey Weinstein was not an artist, nor a creative partner in the traditional sense. He was an empire, and like all empires, he expected obedience. To the public, his relationship with Judi Dench appeared respectful, even supportive. Privately, it was something far more unsettling: control disguised as opportunity. During a high-stakes awards season campaign in the early 2000s, Weinstein moved aggressively to dominate Dench's schedule, publicity, and public image. Every appearance was calculated, every interview scripted. Dench, who valued independence more than trophies, quietly pushed back. She questioned decisions that felt manipulative and resisted being turned into a campaign tool. The tension came to a head during a private meeting. When Dench challenged a strategy she believed misrepresented her work, Weinstein leaned back, smirked, and delivered a line that revealed everything. "Leave the thinking to us. You just show up." The words were calm, almost casual, but the message was unmistakable. In that moment, Dench understood this was never about publicity. It was about power. She ended the meeting without raising her voice, walked out, and drew a line that would never move. From that day forward, she quietly limited his influence and declined deeper involvement. Years later, when the truth about Harvey Weinstein emerged, her clarity had already been complete. That single meeting had shown her enough. The final name belongs to a respected figure in British theatre, Richard Eyre. Together, they created critically acclaimed work. On the surface, their collaboration was celebrated. Behind the scenes, however, tension brewed. EYRE's process was built on total control. Every movement, every pause was predetermined. For Dench, this felt suffocating. During rehearsals, she suggested a subtle adjustment to a key monologue. Believing it would deepen the emotional impact, Eyre shut it down immediately. "Just follow the map, Judi." The words were final, dismissive.